Okay, so my name is Mike Buck, retired New York trooper, 32 years of experience. And I'm just going to start off by saying the old saying, you're happy and love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I was fortunate enough to have a career like that. This picture that you see on the screen is my mother and father. My dad was career military in the Air Force. This is, I'm not sure the year, but this is New Year's Eve. And that's my mother and father at Hunter Army Airfield in Savannah, Georgia, where they met. Their names are Leslie and Gladys. Tell me those aren't two old school American names, right? So in that, I have 4 brothers, 5 sisters, typical military family, large, goes girl, boy, all the way down to the bottom. That career has led me as a child to many, many beautiful places. Ultimately, I was born in Plattsburgh, New York, which is northern New York, off of 87, right near the Canadian border, across the lake from Vermont. From that, my earliest memories of a kid was this location. I'm number 8 of the 10 kids. And this is me, my younger brother and sister, and my father. And just looking at that photo, can you guys take a quick guess where that is? Anyone? If you look at the background, that's Diamond Head. That's Honolulu, Hawaii.
That's what I was going to guess.
Yeah, we lived at Hickam Air Force Base there. So my career, my dad's career, I should say, took us there. And in 1972, he got transferred to Rapid City, South Dakota, Ellsworth Air Force Base. Talk about 2 weather extremes. Those are them. So he ultimately retired and moved back to Syracuse, where he is from, born and raised there. I graduated high school, and my talents took me to the University of Maryland. None of those 2 guys on that screen are me, but I think it's a cool photo. Back in the day when I was single, of course, I told women, "Oh yeah, that's me. Of course, that's me." But that's not. Loved Maryland, and I studied criminal justice there. And in 1986, I received an appointment to the New York State Police. Upon graduation, like every New York trooper, we have to do time in uniform at a barracks. So I did most of my uniform time in only 4 barracks: North Syracuse, which is outside the city of Syracuse, Baldwinsville, and I did a year on the Thruway, Junius Ponds, and in the Syracuse barracks, and ultimately got transferred back to North Syracuse after I did my 1-year stint doing just mostly highway work on the Thruway. I loved doing the criminal complaint work, working cases, answering the radio, domestics from whatever. That was a great time, and it was a fun time. So I got married in 1992, and 1993, my birth of my oldest daughter, Ashley, one of the great joys of my life. And it's funny when you measure your career, you turn around and look, and your kids are hitting those achievements, starting school, moving up from elementary to middle school, so on and so forth. And your career just keeps putting away. 1995, my middle daughter, Cameron, was born. And again, one of those markers. So in 1995, I think September, I got transferred into the BCI. This picture you see is Pulaski, New York. I was hoping Jill would be here because she doesn't live too far from this. Pulaski, New York is I've never seen so much snow in all my life. It's an hour north of Syracuse. If you love snow, that's the place you should go. At least you can take a photograph of a typical day, which is like the picture you see on the screen, and tell people you were in freaking the North Pole, because that's what the snow is like up there. But I did 1995, when I got promoted to investigator, I did 5 years working undercover as a in our drug enforcement team. Actually, it was called Community Narcotics Enforcement Team. And we did low-level street crimes, just drug work, prostitutions, guns. And we would work for smaller municipalities that didn't have the manpower. So it's easy to move people within the state police all over the state and bring fresh faces to communities so people wouldn't recognize us. From there, I got transferred into a criminal back room, and part of our duties was homicides, felony complaint work, those sorts of things. I did my time in the BCI, in the criminal investigation unit up in Pulaski, and I did most of my time in the North Syracuse station. And this picture I put on here because it's kind of, this is what I was doing the governor's visit to Syracuse, part of our duties as investigators, when his team comes from Albany to certain locations. The local investigators would handle the security, or at least assist in the security. And this is him at the state fair. Does anybody recognize this gentleman right behind me over my shoulder? That's Joe Prococo. He got caught up in the Core Corporation. He might be out of jail by now, I'm not positive. And over his shoulder is then Governor Cuomo. So 2001, January 2001, this is my youngest daughter, Emma. Again, one of those markers in time that I remember. I was working at the time I was in the North Syracuse barracks, working criminal investigations. And then unfortunately, the events of September 11th happened, which changed a lot in law enforcement. No more did we want to be a reactionary force. We wanted to be proactive. And from that, we started the Counterterrorism Intelligence Unit. And it was the first one, at least first units in the New York State Police that was dedicated strictly to intelligence. And so part of that, being in that unit, was to go out to municipalities, PDs, work with our federal partners, and get ahead of crime. When we hear intelligence, it's about sharing, and it's about making these relationships in law enforcement that if you get something from a traffic stop that looks interesting, you shoot it up the chain of command. We would get it across our desk and float it and get it out to where it needed to be. You know, it's tough to say that something that we got was successful, because if you interdict something, you would never know it. It's the one you miss that everyone knows about, right? You know, if you play an analogy to soccer, you can have the best goalie in the goal, but it's the one kick, the game winner, that everyone's going to remember. So we do the best we can to get ahead of everything and to interdict, stop, and prevent these attacks. After 9/11, we professionalized within the state police our protective service unit. At the time, it was called Executive Service Detail, which is the governor's detail. These are men and women that are now tasked with protection of the governor. They are 100% dedicated to that mission to protect the chief executive of New York and his family, as well as the lieutenant governor. And it does expand outside of just the governor. And here you have Elliot Spitzer. I'm sorry, I forgot to move the slide. So here you have Elliot Spitzer when he ran the Boilermaker. Just, I think George Pataki was definitely the governor on 9/11, and that's when it really kicked off. So here's Elliot Spitzer after running the Boilermaker. And you can see me over his shoulder in clothes because I'm not running anywhere. Does anyone recognize the gentleman in this picture?
It's Bush Jr., right? Or Bush Sr.?
Bush Senior, yes, sir. So we also supplement, again, any heads of state. We work with Secret Service to help them move ex-presidents, current presidents, and any other designee they designate needs protection. And this is us, state police, assisting Secret Service with then ex-president George Herbert Walker Bush. Also, we work with the State Department. I've worked with the Diplomatic Security Services in this dignitary protection. And here we have Tony Blair, and we visited Colgate University, ex-President Bill Clinton, again with the Secret Service. And it's an amazing detail, and you learn. We've learned from from the US Secret Service. They're the best of the best when it comes to dignitary protection and so on and so forth. And over the years, just doing these details, you meet interesting people. Dave Matthews, when he came up to the Carrier Dome, just a great guy. Snuck a photograph of him, but hey, you do it when you can. But one of the greatest details I worked was again with the Diplomatic Security Services of the US State Department, and that was the Dalai Lama. So after 2017, I should say before that, obviously, divorced and remarried in 2018. I'm sorry, 2017, I remarried. And those babies you saw all grown up as time passes. My pride and joy. Ashley, Cameron, and Emma. They are everything to me. They are just beautiful, successful young ladies. And despite what they say, I'm going to take credit for it as well. So I retired in 2018, and what you're looking at the screen is my second wife, and where the name MACE comes from. Her name is Michelle. I stole the M. Next to her is Ashley. I stole the A. Far right is my middle daughter, Cameron, stole the C, and my youngest is Emma. So after I retired in 2018, sitting around the house playing Call of Duty, it sounds great and sounds cool, but it got boring. Decided to start my security company and use that MACE for the name. Now about MACE, I took all the years of experience, all the training I've had, all the knowledge I took from the state police. And again, I'm not the smartest man out there, but you work with good people that take their time and teach you, even other departments. And it was a great career, which allowed me to do this. So I got together with a couple of friends. How can we make this work? Work with teaching other police departments what we know, smaller police departments what we know. Also apply that to the private sector. I mean, we see these videos on YouTube where you just see police officers in bad situations and they compound it. And it's a lack of training, to be honest with you. And again, taking that, training them up, which is what we can do. Myself and a couple consultants I have with me are all certified New York State police instructors. Applying that to the private sector, comprehensive pre-employment background investigations. We can take it as deep and as hard as the client would like. Doing the backgrounds for trooper candidates. Those things can take up to 3 weeks, and it's a good binder. When I came on the job, it was your entire life from the day you were born until you were time of the application. And again, being on these military bases, I really felt bad for the backroom investigators that I had to track all that stuff down. So now I think it's moved from age, I think 13 to the age of the application that we do the backgrounds on. But again, applying it to the private sector, believe it or not, the verification on some of these resumes that people submit on job applications, 75% of these hiring managers, according to Market Watch, say that the resumes are fabricated through just education. People say they got degrees and advanced degrees, and they don't, or they did apply to the college and didn't follow through. We had up here a football coach by the name of George Leary. I don't know if that name, you guys remember that, years ago, became the head coach of Notre Dame. He put on his application, he had a master's degree from Southern New Hampshire University. They had no record of him even enrolling in Southern New Hampshire, New Jersey. Again, why would someone do that? And he ultimately ended up losing that job at Notre Dame. But again, we would like to get involved in that, and we could probably show and teach ways and to prevent that from happening on applications. Also, due diligence investigations. I heard a couple of people on here are buying businesses and selling businesses. We can do the investigations to assess the qualifications and records of people involved in these transactions and things of that nature. Also, New York State cannabis is now legal, recreational cannabis. We received training again after 9/11 through the Office of New York State Emergency Management. We call it critical infrastructure, where you go and make a soft target and you harden that. You want to prevent people from even thinking about going into these businesses and committing crimes. The problem with the cannabis industry is it's still a federal crime on the federal level. So it's strictly a cash business. And it is scary to think that, you're working in a business and there's nothing but cash in there. People are going to try it. We can go in and teach these people and help them set up a plan to, again, minimize it, to make it an unattractive target, to know if they can try it, but it's not going to be easy. So again, staying ahead. Financial crimes investigations, we work those, again, with our federal partners, the racketeering cases. In New York State, they have enterprise corruption investigations. Again, those on the federal level are called racketeering investigations or RICO Act. We've done those just criminal investigations, regular work. One of my consultants he was a former BCI captain, a guy who helped set up the due diligence investigations within the state police. He owns a tax business. This guy's a wizard at these sorts of things. Again, the site security and risk assessment surveys, again, falling back to what I just mentioned about the cannabis. Again, making a hard target, soft target to look hard, to bolster up security, and again, do it at a minimal cost to the business, but to do it right, not just to go in there and say you did it, but to do it right. Again, certified police instructor, New York State sexual harassment training, which I believe businesses over a certain number have to have. Same with the diversity and inclusion training. I have a guy that teaches that at Mohawk Valley College. So we have people who are versed in these fields that can come into your company, your business, and teach your employees. And it protects you at the end of the day, because your employees, they can't fall back and say, well, I didn't know. Well, actually you did, because we trained you in it. Comprehensive civil investigation review. Again, sitting down with attorneys to go over how it looks from a police standpoint, what could have been done, what may have been done, what was done, good, bad, and different. We can sit down with people and review. And that's that. So that's my contact information. Any questions, any anything that you think we can help you with, give us a call. If we can help you, that great. If we can't, I might be able to help find someone that could help you in any of those disciplines that I mentioned in a previous slide. With that, I think I'm done.